All right. All of the recordings are going. Got everything recorded. The Threadcast is also being recorded. I don't know if you guys saw on the last video that we uploaded from the last AMA. The Threadcast was in the video, which I thought was kind of fun. I was working on that for a couple of weeks and I could never get it to work, but I finally cracked the code, so
Nice.
should be good to go.
Let me find the Threadcast.
And I just realized I was muted on Spaces. Sorry about that.
That's
You got
fine.
the alpha. If you were in the YouTube, you got the alpha. Don't worry about it.
There you go. The alpha is there is no alpha. At least that's the track record so far. Maybe Rune will change things.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. I mean, we were talking pre-show. We might as well warm up with before we get into the Leo stuff. The markets have been pretty wild. We're kind of trading a little bit sideways in terms of Bitcoin, at least, with just price action not really breaking out of this general range. Kind of like 33 to 34K, just under 35. But Rune has just been, and you guys have been seeing me tweet about and thread about Rune over the past kind of 2 weeks. I started getting loud about it again. So I started buying pretty heavy at $1.60, and now Rune is at 280. So, and I saw overnight it almost went to $3. So it's getting pretty wild to see, Rune kind of just take off. A little bit pissed off because I'm a dollar cost averager. That's how I always do things. And I got to buy, a good amount of Rune at like $1.60 to, under $2. But just kind of pissed me off that I was probably like 30% of the way to my, end goal in terms of Rune buying when it went over $2. And I was like, oh yeah, I guess I'll just keep buying here. And then every single day I wake up, it's 10 cents higher. And I was looking into some metrics, and I know a lot of other people were that I follow on X who talk about Rune pretty frequently. And they were talking about how this price action, when you look on chain, they believe, and you can't believe everything, but I looked into some of the data too, and I generally agree with them that the buying pressure on Rune is actually like a fundamental buying pressure. It's not like there's no like whales that are just buying up the price essentially. If you look at the on-chain data, it's Rune getting burned from the lending, and it's trading fees, trading volume, it's streaming swaps, it's streaming loans, and then also streaming savers. Streaming savers have exploded recently. So all of these kind of fundamental developments that Rune that Thorchain has kind of deployed in the past 2 years of the bear market are kind of they're kind of, and Addicted was talking about this in the Leo Discord. They're kind of like pump tokenomic features, especially the lending protocol, which is kind of confusing. The way it works, it's essentially 0% APR loans that can't get liquidated. And when you kind of look into it, you realize, I saw Addicted just join the Spaces too. When you look into the lending, you kind of realize that it's like, it kind of creates like a Luna situation where, if that starts to build up, it's just going to explode. Like Luna just kind of exploded overnight. And I'm talking about exploding to the upside, not the obvious downside explosion of Luna. So that's kind of interesting for Rune. I'm convinced that Rune is going to hit $70 in this bull run. That's kind of my target, which
what?
is a $50 billion market cap, and I go based on market cap. So the
What would
$70 is
that?
not just some random target.
Where would that put Rune in terms of overall market cap compared to other coins?
It would, well, you got to look at it as like the previous bull market. Like if you look at it currently, let me pull it up. It would
Yeah,
definitely be like
obviously.
top 10 right
Okay.
now.
Well, that's fine. I mean, if that valuation put it like, number two, I'd be like, yeah, I'm not on board. But if it's going to put it top 10, then yeah.
It would put it at number 9. Yeah.
Oh,
Like
wow.
right
And that's
above
what current.
Dogecoin. Dogecoin's 9.5 bill
And that's current right now. I mean, obviously, things
current.
will things will probably go up if We are at the beginning of a bull market. All right. I'm not hating on
Yeah.
that.
You know,
Also,
and I'm kind of, yeah, and I like market cap wise, I'm kind of comparing this to like Link. You know, Link's at 6.2
crap.
billion right now.
I gotta let you go solo
Um,
for a minute.
all right, you're good.
Sorry.
I'll just rant about Rune while you're gone. So Link is your mic's still on Spaces. I don't know if you can hear me though. I can mute you. If you look at Link, the market cap is 6.2 billion right now. Let me see what it was in the last bull run. In the last bull run, it peaked out at 20 billion. So, you know, a $50 billion market cap obviously is like basically 2 times what Link ultimately achieved. But I think, you know, in my opinion, Thorchain is just vastly superior to Link. And by the way, that 20 billion was after the market cap was basically $1 billion in 2020. So pre-bull market cap of Link was $1 billion. The current market cap of Rune is, I think, like 800 million. Let me get the exact market cap. It's just under $1 billion, I think. Yeah, it's 960 million now. So basically $1 billion market cap. So if you assume that Rune will move even as much as Link did, you're basically looking at a 6x from where we are now to get to the Link current market cap. But if you were looking at the last bull run of 20 billion, you're basically looking at a 20x on Rune. So like I said, you know, my personal opinion is that Rune is going to cross a $50 billion market cap. You know, anything can happen. That's just my prediction. And it's become my biggest altcoin position. I've even considered moving some Bitcoin into Rune and making Rune bigger than my Bitcoin position. That feels a little crazy though, because Bitcoin's been my biggest position for, you know, as long as I've been in crypto. So I don't know, but yeah, I've been tweeting and threading a lot about how bullish I am on Rune and why I think they're doing a really good job as a project. I'm trying to take a lot of lessons learned from them, and I do have kind of a connection to their team. Some of the people, you know, obviously there's no centralized team, but some of the people that contribute to Thorchain in terms of the community and some of their technical side of developing. So I'm a huge fan of what they're doing, and I just think I think it's incredible. Like I was just looking this morning, their current TVL of pooled assets is $180 million. And their current trading volume every 24 hours is $100 million. So they're almost trading their entire pool depth every single day. And the monthly, what was the monthly revenue? I don't have it right in front of me. The revenue is just off the charts. I think it was like $4 million a month in terms of fee revenue from trading fees, and all that money goes obviously to the LPs. So the APR for staking on Thorchain has just been increasing dramatically. I know the Sabres APR is like over 20% for stable coins right now. And that's driven by fee revenue. It's not driven by like, inflation. So I just think it's really, really crazy to see how successful Thorchain has become. And really the flipping point for me where, you know, I obviously have always had a lot of Rune, but I sold a lot in the last bull market, and I was kind of waiting to buy during this last bear market. The kind of flipping point for me, and obviously I could have bought at a better price. You know, I kind of kicked myself about that a little bit, that Rune went under $1 and I didn't scoop up more of it when it was down there. But the flipping point for me was the streaming swaps taking off and getting a lot of traction, and then also using it myself. So the first time I did a streaming swap was just a few weeks ago, and it's insane how well it works. I got better pricing than I would have on a centralized exchange, and I did it all from, you know, a hardware wallet, and I was able to stream a swap. And it worked flawlessly through the ThorSwap UI. And I know there's other big players out there doing, you know, tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars through streaming swaps, which is insane considering the pool depth. So that really changed my mind about, and I obviously was already bullish on Thorchain, but it changed my mind about how quickly the adoption of Thorchain could happen, because I thought there was this big barrier to adoption that was going to take place, which is that we need to see $2 billion, $3 billion, $10 billion in liquidity before Thorchain could really take off and have better pricing than centralized exchanges, which ultimately you need. And then streaming swaps just flip that completely on its head, because now with $180 million pool depth, you're already getting better pricing than centralized exchanges. So now just imagine when it reaches $1 billion pool depth, and it's just going to be, it's up only from here, in my opinion. And I'm not just talking about the Rune price. I'm talking about the volume on Thorchain, the savers on Thorchain, the loans on Thorchain. I think it's crazy. And then they're working on perps, so futures. So that's a huge market for Binance and other centralized exchanges right now, is the perps market. And they're also working on order books. So I mean, they're on a very solid roadmap to flip all the centralized exchanges in crypto, in my opinion. You look at like the MEXCs of the world, the Binances of the world. I really believe that Thorchain is going to really start eating up their market share. The only market share that they aren't going to eat up is the on-ramp, off-ramp from US dollars, obviously, that and just fiat in general. I think they're going to eat up a lot of the crypto to crypto market, and you'll still have the on-ramp, off-ramps. Taskmaster, this is a Thorchain AMA. So long story short, I
Apparently
think we're right. I think we're on the verge of the bull market, and Rune has made me incredibly bullish. With everything going on there.
I mean, here's a soft transition that still touches on Rune, but also touches on Leo. And sidebar, apparently I'm going to sell Rune way too early based on your opinions and forecasts, because I personally was just like, shit, if this thing gets anywhere near the all-time high ever again, I am dumping all of it. I'm going to cash out finally and take the win, because obviously I'll be up then. I mean, I'd have to see where my average cost is, but luckily it's single digits, but it's high single digits. But speaking of Rune, Thorchain, and Leo, someone asked, and it's something you spoke about back in the day, but they basically said, I think it was Anderson, Anderson who asked if we'll see Leo listed on any of the Thorchain front ends at any point.
Yeah, nice transition. That's a big thing that I'm working on, and everything always circles back to Leo, and that's to kind of touch on Taskmaster's point. Is this a Leo AMA or a Thorchain AMA? I'm working on getting Beehive and BLeo onto Thorchain. They just recently released Binance Smart Chain, or BNB Smart Chain, as an integration option and a supported blockchain. This was literally like 3 weeks ago, I think. So I've been talking to a few people that are involved over there about how we can make all this happen. But yeah, I would, a big reason I've been stacking Rune is because, when Leo pool on Rune, and I could put up a solid chunk of Rune, because you have to obviously pool Rune with Leo. So definitely gonna happen in this universe, in my opinion. I want to get it done before the bull run, because being tied to Rune would also be nice for Leo. But we have to figure out a couple technical aspects of it, and then hopefully from there, it will be easy, seamless integration, and then you'll be able to trade Leo directly on Thorchain. So, and like I said, I'm working on Beehive as well. But what that means for Leo getting on Thorchain is that you'll be able to swap anything native that Thorchain supports, which is obviously Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, and others. You'll be able to swap them directly for Leo or BLeo, and it's obviously they have beautiful UIs. It works flawlessly. You'll be able to do streaming swaps, which is insane. Like, right now, if you want to buy $100,000 worth of Leo, you can, and for anyone who might not know what streaming swaps are, because you might not, essentially what it is it just takes a big swap and it breaks it out into like sub swaps, right? So if you have like $100,000 swap, let's say, and let's use Leo as the example because my end goal is to get Leo onto Thorchain so that we can do this. Let's say that you are a whale and you want to buy into Leo at the current price, and you want to buy $100,000 worth of Leo. Your best thing to do right now would be to go to all the different pools, WLEO, BLEO, PLEO, and then native Leo on the Hive blockchain, and do very small swaps of say like $200 at a time. You just want to swap at 200, and then you want to wait on chain for arbitrage bots to arbitrage the price and bring them back to equilibrium. And then after the arbitrage, then you want to set your next swap, and you want to just keep doing that. So essentially what a streaming swap on Thorchain is it just automates that. So it sets it up so that you set a swap price, you set like a minimum price that you're willing to accept. So let's use Leo as the example again. Leo's trading at like, let's just say 4 cents. And you want to swap $100,000 into Leo. The most you want to pay is like, let's just say 5 cents. And the current price is 4 cents. So it'll start swapping. It'll break out your $100,000 into, let's just say 1,000 sub swaps. So you'll be swapping $100 at a time, and you'll do it 1,000 times. And basically what's going to happen is in between each swap, it's going to wait for the arbitrage bots to step in and arb the price back down until it does your next swap. So it basically creates a friendly relationship between arbitrage bots and users, and it turns arbitrage bots into more market makers that actually bring real efficiency to the marketplace, as opposed to like the Meave bots that you see that basically like front run your transactions and are ultimately like playing against you. These are almost like, it's almost like Thorchain has created a situation where they play in your favor, so that you can get better price action and better, more efficient pricing, especially on large swaps in a small pool. So I was tracking this one pool that's got like, I think $1 million in liquidity on Thorchain. And someone swapped $600,000 using a streaming swap, and they did it with like under 2% slippage or something insane like that. So like try to imagine someone buying Leo, buying like, let's say, using proportional liquidity and pricing to what I'm talking about. That 600K in $1 million pool. Imagine 200K in a 400K Leo liquidity pool. Like it's wild. It's really wild. So I'm very bullish on streaming swaps for Rune's sake, and then I'm also bullish on getting it integrated for Leo. Building that liquidity, I think is pretty crazy.
Nice. So basically, TLDR, Leo on Thorchain.
Yep, one Leo on Thorchain. That is my goal. That is my goal.
Hashtag liquidity.
But yeah, we need we're going to need a lot of Rune to pair up with Leo, a minimum bar of your asset and Rune to pull together. And once you can get above that bar, then you can obviously get onto the platform.
I'm actually going to, oh, that didn't work. I was going to try and drop in and out of spaces just so I can close my browser, because I got to do something about the congestion and lag that is my connection.
No worries.
I'm going to drop off for a second and then come back in.
Yeah, Nifty, I might DM you about that, just to get more details. But that sounds interesting. Definitely looking to talk to some people about how we can make that happen. Right now I'm in my bag loading phase, just making sure I have enough room so that when we launch this pool, we can get some really deep liquidity there. Yeah, Leo on Peniel, Leo on Thorchain will be awesome. It's definitely going to boost the community token more. Yeah, I think, even if you don't look at it from a pricing perspective of like being bullish on Leo, I think it's bullish on liquidity and trading. Just allowing people to trade more and with size, I think is really, really important. Um, Someone said, "Scaredy cat, blink twice if you're being held against your will." That's funny. He took a good screenshot of your face. Um, when rune
Yep,
on
they
Hive
you
chain,
can
like
you can
Atrium.
hear me. They can't. Trying to get back into
um,
space. Fuck.
it still shows you as being into me. You want me to remove
Kick.
you and then you can jump
Yeah,
back in?
remove me because I'm trying to get back in and it's like not letting me because I'm quote unquote in still.
All right, I removed you, and now
All right.
you're out of it.
All right. Let me try this now. Start listening.
Morty, instead of bringing Rune to Hive, I think we should bring Hive to Rune. That's my philosophy, which is the plan with Beehive. Planning on putting Beehive onto Thorchain, and then I think that would be incredible for Hive because right now the best way to swap Hive is I see you requested.
You removed me
Eric.
again. Hold on. Let me try
Oh,
and request.
I'm adding Eric too. He just requested. Um,
All right. I requested.
it says you're a speaker. I think you're good. Oh wait,
Okay. I don't know. Show me as a
maybe
listener, but
maybe give it a second.
and now I've been removed again.
Huh.
Me and spaces just don't get along.
Yeah. I mean, I've heard that there's some bugginess with the desktop spaces. But with Hive, you have this huge liquidity issue with obviously now Mandala is out of reach for a lot of people who, used to use it. Um, and I'm gonna remove you again and then add you back. And then if you want to
I didn't even realize I'm
come
in. At
back
this
in.
point, I can't even freaking find this. I can't even find it. Oh, here.
All right, now you're out of it. I would try closing your browser and then just opening a fresh tab. Um, Eric requested add a speaker. So yeah, and you can trade Hive on Mexi or Binance right now, and obviously Binance is not accessible to a lot of people. But in terms of like trading on Mexi, the liquidity is very bad for Hive. The spread is huge. There's just not a lot of bids and asks. So imagine if we build a liquidity pool on Thorchain for Beehive, and you can swap like $100,000 in a streaming swap directly on Thorchain, and you can go straight to Bitcoin or Ethereum or whatever. So pretty wild.
Yeah, I think that it's just like how bring high, but we don't really represent uh, a force of trading or a force of users. But if we bring the tokens to places where there's more liquidity, more capital, and more users, then more people start hearing about Hive and then coming into the ecosystem. I think the way is to bring Hive there, not to bring ecosystems to Hive.
Yeah, exactly. And a big reason for that is like the technology is just not there for Hive is a great base layer chain for what it does. But that doesn't mean you have to bring everything onto that chain. In my opinion, you want to stay, and I think Hive needs to stay very niche in terms of it provides this tooling, and then people like Leo and Splinterlands and 3Speak and other projects build on top of that base layer and build out from there. You don't need to have every single blockchain get integrated into Hive, but you should see Hive spread out into a lot of different into a lot of different chains and ecosystems through a lot of the things I've talked about with integrating bridges and other things. Morty asked, "What's up with Cub and Polycub?" Well, you just heard me talk about Beehive, so the plan is to keep building liquidity, keep driving volume to that, and build up from there. So if Beehive got onto Thorchain, which is the current plan, like I said, you could start streaming swaps, which is not currently possible because the liquidity is so low. So liquidity obviously being our biggest burden. but once you can drive in liquidity anymore, to have massive some of that burden, which I'm looking forward to. Looks like Mitch has dropped off. He might be restarting or something. I'll give him a few minutes. Eric, if you want to jump in the Zoom, just so that if people are watching on YouTube, I don't know if you got anything else you want to talk about, but I just sent you the link. See what you guys are talking about.
That is exactly what Beehive and Beehive are so useful for the Hive ecosystem in general, because we needed a bridge. We needed a way of doing it on the layer one with transactions from Hive and from HBD into Polygon and BSC and even Ethereum, because that way people can access Hive without having to go into Hive Engine or having to buy layer 2 tokens. And the idea is not to bring in capital to Hive, but to aggregate ways for people to get out of Hive, but also come into Hive without having to do all these burdensome processes of going into Hive Engine, etc. So, and yes, I will jump into the Zoom in 2 minutes.
Cool. Sounds good. I that's a big reason why we've tackled the things we've tackled. They're not easy things to tackle. You guys know there's a lot of growing pains on that side of the spectrum. So, I obviously think it's important enough that we put a lot of resources and attention into it. So, that's kind of why we continue to bang our head against that wall, because I just think it's so important to build liquidity for Hive and HBD and obviously for Leo across different blockchains. So let's jump into a few questions and go a little more Leo related. Taskmaster just said, when will the rest of premium features go live? So there's only about 3 features, I think, on premium that are not live right now. They actually were all live for a very short period of time. And then we rolled back, I think, 3 of them. So obviously like the AI thread storm feature and stuff like that. They're too buggy to use right now. So we need to do a little bit more testing. I know with the AI one, we had some issues with the OpenAI API. So we need to do a little bit more internal testing before we release that to all of you guys. But they'll be out soon. The core of the features are already out though. The check mark, the edit threads, the longer threads, all that stuff. The core of it is out. I would say I think just the AI thread storm is getting a lot of attention because it sounds really cool. But like I said, the core of the features are all already available. But yeah, I'm hoping to have the AI thread storm feature back on the UI sometime next week. I just want to make sure that it's working properly. Otherwise, basically what happens is it'll jumble up all your threads and then it just looks bad. So I just don't want people posting a bunch of bad threads because the AI thread storm feature is not working right. What else we got here? Love learning Thorchain. Talk more about Thorchain. We should do like a whole podcast about Thorchain at some point, but I'll switch to Leo topics because I'm sure it's more interesting to more of you. But yeah, I'm very bullish on Thorchain, but we can I'm writing a very lengthy kind of investment thesis into Thorchain right now and why I think it'll hit a $50 billion market cap. So I'm going to release that in a series of Hive blog posts. So keep your eyes out for that. And then maybe I'll do a podcast about it specifically too. So I can, talk at length about why I think it's such a good project. Yeah, the spaces are looking good. See people posting screenshots. Could the VSC implementation ease Leo's integration into Thorchain? So VSC is very cool. And I actually was talking to Vaultec when we were at HiveFest together. And I'm excited about what he's planning to do with VSC. So I think he's planning the test net for something like March of 2023, or sorry, 2024. And I'm excited to see that test net and kind of see what comes about from it. I think I think in general, VSC could. I think the potential of VSC is to build a decentralized second layer, and obviously this is what they're trying to do on the Hive blockchain, which could potentially replace Hive Engine, for example. And obviously, as you know, Leo's built on Hive Engine. So that being said, though, there is a long way to go from here to there. There's a lot of tooling that needs to get built, just in general. So I after talking to Vaultec, and he asked, what Leo's involvement would be. I think what's going to take place, and what I hope takes place, is that they get to testnet, and then we start kind of working, a little bit on our own to help them build some tooling that can do like Leo-like features or Hive Engine-like features on VSC. And then over time, hopefully we can adopt it more and more. But like I said, we're pretty far from, here to there. But I do think VSC is extremely important for Hive. I know that their proposal's at like 94% funded. So, Vaultec is a great guy, extremely smart, really knows what he's talking about. And obviously one of the first applications they're doing is wrapping Bitcoin onto the Hive blockchain. So highly recommend checking out the proposal, consider giving it a vote, help them get over the line and get funded. Because, I think at the very least, I think it can offer a lot of I think competition is really good, and I think at the very least it offers a second layer competition for Hive Engine that one of them has to improve, and you have to see improvements to keep your market share. So I'm generally pretty bullish on VSC in the long run. Yeah, VSC is going to be in a test state for a good space of time. It's something with a long-term payoff. Definitely. Definitely something with a longer term payoff. And, if you have a long-term mindset, I think it's going to have a lot of value for Hive. But like I said, March testnet, I hope we start seeing some really cool stuff come out. And, knowing Vaultec, I think he's going to be pretty relentless with updates. So I'm sure it's going to be great. We got Eric in the Zoom. I just pinged Mitch because he's offline everywhere. Make sure he didn't text me. He did not. Still waiting on Mitch, but welcome to the show, Eric. I think he's just getting set up, so we'll let him get situated. Uyo Bong, I think there needs to be a clear definition of the benefits of Leo Premium. I mean, if you go to the premium page, it shows you every benefit. We could remove those 3 bullet points from the premium page. Maybe we'll just do that. But like I said, there's like 7 or 8 out of the total features are live. It's just 3 of them that aren't. I know a lot of people are waiting for the AI thread storm to be live, but maybe we'll just remove them so people stop asking until it goes live. But like I said, it was live for about a day, and then we rolled it back just due to some bugs. What else we got here? INLEO we trust, yeah. INLEO we trust.
Hey, Cal, can you hear me on Zoom?
Yeah, I can hear you on Zoom. Your video just went out though. OpenAI would definitely help. Yeah, the AI integration is going to be really, really interesting. Obviously we're using it for thread storms off the bat, and then we're going to have a lot of other cool features that get rolled out as well. That's a big piece of Leo is Leo Infra, which makes the sign up process really smooth. I know that when we were live on the Spaces yesterday, there was one guy who couldn't sign up, and when we figured out that he was putting an @ symbol, I think, in front of his username. So there's some really good progress on the onboarding front in terms of kind of getting to this more like mass scale, potential of who's signing up. So, a big issue that people were facing is that they don't know what like special characters are allowed in a username. For example, like some people were trying to put like certain dashes and symbols in their username, and obviously that doesn't work. Or they were trying to capitalize certain letters. Obviously that doesn't work on Hive. So, we've added features to the UI that prevents them from, like if you try to type a capital letter, it won't let you, stuff like that. So, but that being said, I still think Leo Infra is by far in a way the easiest way to sign up for a Hive account, since you don't have to download any keys. You literally just sign up with your X account and you're in like, under 30 seconds. You can start threading, start earning.
Just to add, we are on our way to break the record in monthly active users. So 3 months ago, we were 1,150. Then we were 1,300 and something. Then we were 1,650. And this month, we still have around 7 hours to go. We are on our way to breaking that record once more. But it's still not enough. Like we need 5,000 users. And we're probably going to end up with around 1,700 in October, but we have 2 months to get 3,000 more. So it's going to be a big task.
Yeah, we've been killing it on the onboarding front. So definitely good to see. And we're doing a lot more appearances. So you guys might have seen the big space that we did yesterday, and it was all sponsored by INLEO. So we got some nice plugs out.
1,300 people listened live.
That's crazy. And they saw INLEO, they saw the INLEO account. I think I personally got like 50 followers while I was speaking. I know the INLEO account got a bunch of followers. I think we should look at the analytics on the UI. I didn't look yet, but I'm sure we got a spike in traffic during that time.
Yeah, and the cool thing about that kind of spaces is not that. I mean, of course, yes, there's more users and there's more eyes, but those are established communities. So once you get a few people to join, and once those people start earning and they start seeing the kind of community we are and the kind of alpha we share in our posts, the tons of features that we have, the word of mouth is going to be huge. It's not only about getting people that listen to the space, but those people eventually will bring in their other friends. So yeah, it's just a time bomb. At one point, all of these people who are watching the spaces, Brett's is going to host one with Cal tomorrow night. So there's all of these kind of things are going to create a snowball effect, which is what we're aiming for in these last 2 months. I don't know. I have been telling Carl that he's gonna like really like right now he's the face of Leo inward, but he's also gonna become like the face of Leo outward, which is like 100 times bigger of a community. So pretty bullish.
Yeah, it's gonna be sounds like a lot of work, but it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a good time. Yeah, the space. I was telling Eric yesterday, the only thing I've got with my only gripe with spaces and such is that people make them run so long. I mean, they're like hours and hours long. So it's just it's sometimes it's crazy. Like yesterday, the space was like 3 hours long. So I had to kind of I talked in the beginning, and then in the middle I had to kind of jump on some other calls, but I was still in the space, and then I jumped in at the end to have some closing thoughts. But yeah, it's just sometimes it's just hard to find a 3 hour space of time to be in a space in the middle of the day. So they're fun though, and they get a lot of interaction, and they drive in a lot of users. So So that's always good to see. And we got
Unable
Mitch
to
back
fetch
in the Zoom,
space.
but he's
Phone,
not able to get the
desktop,
space.
doesn't matter where you go. Unable to fetch space. Says it on anything I use. Phone, laptop, tablet,
Got to be
doesn't
that
matter.
Android. Got to be that Android
Exactly.
in the Windows computer.
Hey,
Apparently,
Kat.
One Apple.
Kat,
Cat needs more
Carl's trying
votes.
to bring me to the dark side, and he wants me to get a mini Mac instead of my trustworthy Windows
I
system.
don't know. I don't know if the words trustworthy and Windows can be used
Good
in the same
luck.
sentence.
I don't know. Is it INLEO sponsored? That always helps push people over the edge.
Yeah, I mean it's just superior. That's all I can say. It's just, unless you're doing unless you're gaming, I just don't I can't see the case getting made that Windows is better. Like I said, unless you're like gaming. I just can't see it. Everything is better on in the Mac cult, especially for the type of work that we all do, which is trading, Zoom calls, programming, general like web browser work. Like it's just superior. It's just superior.
Yes, just like
Sorry to
INLEO is
say it.
superior to X, because apparently INLEO works and X doesn't. I think it's just the theme, since Tesla stock's basically ruining my entire portfolio right now. Apparently, I have to suffer anything related, Elon related right now. I don't know why. Elon hates me. All I do is support his stuff.
Support him with all the trades. Mitch is for everyone on the space. Mitch is talking about how he's a supporter of Elon, but I'm hearing an echo. He's a supporter of Elon, but it's not cooperating, so it's kind of funny, ironic.
Yeah, I was trying to put my microphone into my headphones so people could hear Kat speaking on Zoom.
Crafty.
That is crafty. Nonzo
I
Right
mean, I
said
am a Windows mind.
Nonzo said coding is better on Windows. Come on. It really isn't. It really isn't. Trust me. It really isn't. I switched and I still have a Windows. I also have an Android. I have both. Partly because I just have to test a lot of different shit. So I just need both. Also because if I ever want a game, I need a Windows. You don't need a Windows, it's just better on Windows. But like I said, like unless you're doing like heavy gaming, there's no reason to be on Windows, in my opinion. It's like you have to you have to do so much more extra work. I used to, back in the day when I used to be on Windows, and I haven't been on it, in terms of my main computer, in probably close to a decade. The last time I was on Windows, like you just have to fiddle with shit all the time. Like shit's always breaking. You got to download some sort of driver software. There's always compatibility issues. That's the difference between, having a closed loop system where it's all controlled by, the Apple cult, and having something where it's modular and anyone can kind of develop for it. You get the customization that comes with, Windows, and having that open source kind of mindset, but you lose the kind of usability and user friendliness of having kind of a centralized entity that controls everything from end to end. So that's really, I know I sound like an Apple commercial, but that's literally why Apple is just superior, for unless you're trying to do like some crazy custom stuff.
Yeah, I think that for example, if you are a power user, you do want Windows because of the customization and the depth that you can go. But if like people like us, yeah, I have found Mac to be better. I was an Android user for a long time, but then I got into iPhone like 10 years ago. I loved it, but I was like, no, I don't want to be a Mac fanboy. So I went back to Android. But now that I have an iPhone again, it's so much easier, so much intuitive. I don't know.
That makes sense though, because that's the way it's built. It's built more for the masses. It's built for basically, every 25-year-old white chick. You know what I mean? Like that's what it's catered towards. So it's, more automated, less control.
Exactly. Oh wow, I'm seeing in the threadcast more tea. Uh, what if we offer some INLEO merch somewhere? I wonder if it would make sense, Carl, to send Leo merch to influencers.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely could. I'm actually working with a friend, like an IRL friend, who is trying to launch a crypto merch company. They've been working on it for a while now. But they're trying to work with different brands. Like, I even hooked them up with someone in Thorchain to talk to their community about doing some merch for Thorchain. And then also, I want them to do Hive merch, and then also, INLEO merch. Big reason they were waiting on the INLEO merch is because they didn't want to do Leo Finance merch and then obviously have it switch over. So now that the brand is fully live, I think we could see some merch in this universe. Big question I have for them too is that we're trying to figure out is how are we going to handle international merch? So like, if you're in Nigeria and you want an INLEO shirt, is that going to be an accessible thing for you? That's what I'm kind of trying to. That's the latest on what I'm trying to figure out is how would we get it there and handle all of that. I think it's doable though, for most jurisdictions. We're just gonna have to kind of see, but yeah, I want to get some INLEO merch out there. I want some merch for myself. Send you guys some merch. Then yeah, send some influencers. Like imagine we send Bread's merch, but he doesn't do. I guess that's part of the problem with a lot of crypto influencers is that they don't do a lot of like personal like videos
Yeah, face to
or
face.
stuff like that. Yeah, they're more like audio only. So we'd have to pick certain influencers, but there's influencers out there. Um,
This is
that
also
face to face.
something I told Ice from the space yesterday. I told him, hey, next one, record yourself, record a space, upload it to ThreeSpeak, and we will give you a nice vote. And that way, you like kind of grow your income funnels. So hopefully, a lot of spaces start doing that.
Yeah, one thing I realized too about this space yesterday is that a lot of these influencers and people that are involved, especially in, the topic of the space yesterday was the catalyst to grow Web3. One thing I learned is that a lot of these influencers are all kind of looking for ways to monetize. And they believe that Web3 has a lot of potential to monetize, but they don't know anything about Hive or INLEO. They don't know how it works. They've, obviously never really heard of it before we came in. So it's just interesting to hear them talk about how they would love to monetize and they're looking for that. And they're all kind of chasing after, 5 million impressions on X so that they can earn a creator paycheck. But little do they realize that they could just come over to INLEO and they can post recordings of their spaces. They can write written content, and they can push it out on threads and blog posts, and they could be earning you know they could be earning a lot of rewards, especially as a popular influencer, because obviously we're incentivized to throw them a lot of votes and tell the community to throw them a lot of votes. If they have the ability to bring in a lot of new fresh blood. So I'm pretty bullish on getting a lot of these like Web3 influencers to come over to INLEO and Hive and start creating content, because they want the income stream. They just don't understand Hive. They don't understand INLEO. So, it's our job to make it really easy for them to sign up and get started and then, learn about the platform just by using it and making it really usable. One thing, I think her name was Ashley. She was on the space yesterday. And she was talking about how the problem with Web3 apps is that you need a like tutorial in order to use them. And that's a big problem. Like if you want to build a great app, it shouldn't require a tutorial in order to use the app. You should just be able to use it. And you know, you should be able to just like get started, like sign up, get started, and use it right away without any issues. So that's definitely a big piece of what we're trying to build, which is just, you know, sign in with your X account, sign in with your Google account, and then immediately you can start, you know, using the platform, and then it's easy from there to kind of snowball into, you know, earning rewards and creating different types of content.
Yeah, 100%. And these guys, I mean, I don't want to mention anything like nobody specific, but a lot of people just mention Web3, and they think that X or crypto Twitter is Web3 just because the people are gathered there. That's just because X became like sort of the town hall of Web3. But if there are other options, we should really push them. And one thing that I was speaking with another influencer was that we kind of took the complicated road because we built Leo built a very robust and strong platform, and we kind of never thought, okay, we should build in parallel our presence in Web 2, in TikTok, X, YouTube. We started around 4 months ago, like hardcore with YouTube. We started 2 months ago, hardcore with X, but we could have started 2 years ago. And then once we had this amazing UI ready for the masses, we would have 10,000 followers each. And then we would have 20 hive made influencers on X. But now that we have this, we have to start building the presence. So it's a little bit harder.
Eric makes it all easier.
Yeah, you know, and to push back on that a little bit, like you, what's that?
I said Eric makes it all easier.
Yeah, that's true.
Speaking of easy, that has nothing to do with me being
to-
on this call. Honestly, I'm gonna drop off because they can't hear me on Spaces, so there's no point in me saying anything. And I don't even think my like threadcast is updating. I mean, so I don't know what's going on, but I'm clearly living in Boomerland today. So
No.
I'm just gonna chalk it up and accept the boomer status apparently for today and come back next week, hopefully in a better generation.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, we
like
should talk this week and try to figure out this Spaces thing.
No doubt.
We should do a like a test over the weekend or on Friday or something, like nothing official, but just like 4 or 5 people gathered, Spaces.
I'm
So,
at the 100 Millionaire Summit Thursday through Sunday night. So if you want to do it, it's got to be today or tomorrow.
Real
Otherwise,
estate chilling.
Otherwise, we can do it Monday or Tuesday next week.
okay.
All right.
Or
Yeah, we
whatever,
can
Cal.
figure it out. We can get
Cal.
Eric to help you because he's the space master.
I like that. That's his new nickname, Space Master.
We have the Taskmaster, the Lead Master. Now we have the Space Master, apparently.
Eric, aka Enel Soul, aka the Space Master. I can't, like I said, I can't get it to. I even VPN'd onto, like I VPN'd and went onto Twitter to see if that would, like, nothing. I just can't get the space to work no matter where I go. So
sorry, one sec, Nifty.
Hey, Nifty's in the house.
Yeah, Nifty's in the house, but he can't hear you. So
exactly.
When you've been talking, he's been talking, and then I can't get both of you. But
that makes sense. All right, well, I'm gonna bounce then, and I'll just be in. I'll be in the threadcast making noise.
All right, thanks, Mitch. Sorry for
later.
the issues.
I mean, it is what it is.
All right, see ya. All right, Mitch is the cat is in the house, but not in the Zoom. All right, Nifty. Sorry, what were you saying? Because I couldn't hear you through because I only have audio to the Zoom right now, but I just turned you up.
I didn't even realize Mitch was talking.
No, you're good.
Because I'm not listening. Yeah, Eric, don't go to the dark side. Stop trying to take Eric to the dark side. First off, but second off, I was talking about the space from yesterday with the 1,200 people. Like that was awesome. But listening to it, I was in there a good 2 hours. And it was like we're so far ahead of the curve of many of these
people and just getting them to understand that these things already exist and that they already have platforms that are available to them where they can monetize everything they're doing without hitting 5 million impressions and shit like that. Like, that's the challenge, but I think this running these spaces and things like that is the way to do it and catch their attention, because maybe they see that the space is trending and they jump in and they start talking and, you know, find out they can monetize their stuff. So yeah, I think this is the key to getting the attention of these people.
Yeah, 100% agree. That space was like very enlightening, I think, for a lot of different reasons. I mean, it was a good conversation in general, just, you know, the way that it was laid out, and I messaged Eric too while the space was going, and I was just like, this is, you know, one of the best spaces I've ever been in terms of, you know, organization, and ICE was just a really good host in terms of keeping the conversation flowing and stuff. And yeah, you know, it does make me also realize, you know, another part of that conversation is how far ahead of the curve we are in terms of you know, Web3, and like I was saying, like a lot of these influencers, they want to earn, you know, rewards, and they want to be, you know, earning from Web3 and be, you know, paid creators. They just don't know or understand or have ever heard about the opportunities that are available on Hive. You know, and the whole point of INLEO, and if you look at the mission statement, it's to build, you know, a thriving creator economy directly on the Hive blockchain. So, you know, our whole mission is to make it really easy. Like, we don't want any, like, you know, if you want tutorial videos, if you want to understand, like one thing they were saying in the space yesterday, if you want to understand how the internet works, you have the ability to understand how it works. But that being said, 99% of people don't want to know how it works. They just want it to work. So INLEO's entire mission is to create the, you know, the application on Hive that just works, where we can get people onboarded, we can get them into the platform, and it all just works. They don't have to think about it too much. They can build their brand on Web3, on Hive, through INLEO, and then they can monetize themselves through, you know, all the different things that are available, all the different tools that are available. You know, the Hive rewards pool, the Leo rewards pool, you know, the only Leo's protocol we're building, you know, ad revenue, all sorts of stuff like that. Like, that's the entire mission of INLEO, is to build this platform where anybody can come to it and they can start earning, whether it's, you know, 1 cent or, you know, $1 million. Like, that's the entire, you know, thesis of what we're building. And, you know, in Web3, we're kind of solving this major issue that nobody has really solved, which is just usability. And I think that's going to be the core issue to solve.
Yeah, and I think that one of the main takeaways that I could give people who want to jump in on spaces like Nifty, like Edwin, I think Taskmaster, even he sometimes jumps into other spaces. A little bit of alpha. First one, yes, we have been discussing on Hive a lot of topics for years. We understand the solutions, or we understand the answers, but if we start by being kind of warlike or too aggressive, the message is not going to go through. That's the first one. And the second one, I have learned a lot of times I speak assuming that the people in the panel and the audience understands the foundations of what I'm saying. So I don't even bother in first framing the foundations and then explaining my point. For example, yesterday I was talking about spreading worthy projects, and I didn't frame it under the education approach. And then my point was completely missed by the full panel. So yes, we have been talking about Web3 for 6 years on Hive. We understand, like we are in high school, and these guys, I mean, not all of them, but some of these guys are just learning what they have to learn in middle school. So if we come with arguments without framing them correctly, we are not going to get the message through. So it is hard. It is hard because it's not the Hive audience. What works with the Hive audience, and for example, the CTT podcasts on Saturdays that are very high level of understanding, and you have to know foundations, consensus, a lot of concepts that Web3 Twitter simply just doesn't know about it. So yeah, it's all about framing.
Yeah, I think I think that's a key piece of marketing in general, not just related to Web3, but just knowing your target audience, segmenting your target audience, and having focused messaging and focused branding for each segment of that audience is vital to growing the platform, whatever platform you're building.
That's the key.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Nifty. It's, they want to hear about monetization. You talk about monetization. They want to hear about, being on an immutable blockchain where their, content can't get taken from them because they're worried about getting banned. That's what you talk to them about. Every audience is different. And I think one thing we can do a better job of, and I'm just talking about INLEO and Hive in general, is segmenting the target audience that we're going after. And I do think there's multiple target audiences that we're going after. There are the certain people we're going after that are more geared towards the immutable aspects of, I don't want my content or my account or my followers getting taken away from me, and that's something that we can market to. And then, like I said, there's others out there who just want the rewards. They want to build a brand that makes money, and that's totally fine. And building an audience is a key part of Web 2. So it's going to be a key part of Web 3 going forward. So if that's an audience segment, then we need to message to them correctly to say, like, hey, you onboarded this platform, you put out one article a day, one blog post a day, maybe you put out a couple threads a day, you reply to a couple threads a day, maybe you put out one video a week or one podcast a week, something like that. And over time you build your brand, and as you're building your brand, you're earning from the rewards pool, from the Leo and the Hive rewards pool, and then you're also earning, if you ever decide to do like an only Leo's subscription where audience members can subscribe and get, premium access content from you, that's another thing that you can do, and another revenue source for you as a creator on this platform.
Yeah, just yesterday night, it was like 9 p.m. here, and there was a space called Elon is deplatforming creators. So Elon is taking a lot of action to take away bots, and now you have the tiers. You have the $16 tier, the $10 tier, and the $1 tier, and depending on which one you get more features and you get more visibility, etc. But these guys, it was a space for like with 9 panelists and 60 people listening, and they were saying, "Oh, but how can we build a brand on YouTube, on X, if they can take it away, blah blah blah." And they were speaking Hive language 5 years from 5 years ago. And I just jumped in and told them, hey, you're talking about all of these issues and getting the platform and losing all of your all of the time that you spent building on X, etc. Just use Hive as a database, like just store your content there. So in the moment that you get deplatformed or that your account is taken away from you, you still have all of that saved somewhere. Consider it like your cloud. And then if we attack that segment, not as content creators, but just as database storage, eventually they will come to Hive. Like they will see what we have in Leo with the Reddit, Medium, Twitter, all these alternatives in one place. Eventually they will start using it, not just for storage, but for actually brand building. So, and just Gary Gensler, Cal, he sent out a tweet 30 minutes ago, and he said, if Satoshi Nakamoto went as Satoshi Nakamoto for Halloween, would we be able to tell? Happy 15th anniversary to Satoshi's famous white paper that started crypto. Any crypto companies that are tricking investors should start treating them to compliance with the securities laws.
Yeah, I didn't see that. I didn't see that tweet. I'm looking now, though. Interesting. The comments underneath that are really funny. Yeah, it's interesting that he's like, I don't know. It's
I mean, but it
an
seems like
interesting
he's double.
tweet.
Yeah. He-
He's an ultra troll. Yeah, Nifty said he's an ultra troll for the people on YouTube. Yeah, he's very strange. I don't know. He's very flippant about Bitcoin and crypto. I mean, I remember when he first came into office, and everyone was really excited because he taught those Bitcoin courses. Um, and then at a university, and then as soon as he gets into office, he turns out to be like the biggest anti-crypto kind of proponent that we've ever faced in terms of someone in a high position of power in the government. So kind of crazy just to see how he kind of flips back and forth, and then suddenly puts up a tweet like this, which is kind of like, it seems almost bullish for crypto, but then it also is kind of a backhand as well. So very, very telling on his personality. So I don't know what to make of this, but I think it's probably bullish for crypto that he's talking about crypto. I saw Taskmaster ask twice in the threadcast, so I wanted to make sure I didn't miss it from earlier. Is Leo ads launching tomorrow, which is November 1st? Yes, the Leo ads contract will officially go live tomorrow. There is a UI update that coincides with it. It's not super important that the UI update is live right away. It's more important that the contract is live first so that it can start feeding data. Because actually, if we were to put, like, let's just say we were to put the UI update live right now without any data because the contract's not flipped on, the UI actually just wouldn't even load. So I would say what's going to happen first is that the contract's going to go live. It's going to start collecting some data, and then the UI will go live within some amount of days afterwards to kind of start reading from that data pool. But what you're going to see with the Leo ads launch is that Leo starts to get bought from the market every single day, and then it'll create that Leo Power APY display in your wallet page. So we got a couple updates coming to the wallet page coinciding with that, including the wallet claim. So for infra accounts, so bunch of updates on that spectrum. But yeah, Leo ads is going live tomorrow. I'm kind of curious to see what happens with Leo tokenomics. Now that we've got premium that's buying Leo, so I did see, I checked in on the Leo premium contract, and it bought about 7,000 Leo so far, I think, which is if you don't know how it works, it collects HBD from the premium subscriptions, and then half goes to buying Leo, half goes to buying Hive, and then it pools the Beehive-B Leo liquidity pool permanently. So it creates buying pressure for Leo and for Hive. Ultimately, I think it's bullish for both. And yeah, I'm excited to see what the long term. Like I said, I think this is very long term. Whether you look at Leo ads or you look at Leo Premium or you look at Only Leos, which is going to be out hopefully by the end of the year. They all create these like kind of slow and steady buying pressures for Leo. And like I said, I'm borrowing a lot of inspiration from projects like Thorchain that are just generating massive amounts of sustainable revenue and kind of pumping it into the token. So it's really cool to see those like sustainable methods of decentralized rewards, where it's like you build this contract, you launch it into the world, and then you let the community take it and use it as a tool to build out the economy and build out the platform. So that's the whole thesis behind Leo Premium, Leo ads, Only Leos, all this stuff that we've built. So yeah, and I think we're at like 80 premium subscribers now, something like 80 roughly. So we're closing in on 100, and it's only been a few days, or I guess it's been like 1 week, pretty much on the dot.
So I have a question. When are we gonna have like yearly subscriptions? I don't know if this was asked before. I didn't come in the first 15 minutes, but because, for example, if I was able to pay for 10 months and get one free or two free or something like that, I would definitely do it. And at the same time, it helps the team know how, like okay, we have 50 people who are going to have premium for the full year of 2024 or stuff like that. So then we can kind of predict how many users, premium users we're going to have.
Yeah, that's a good question. So yeah, I talked a little bit about it last week, that we've got kind of the general framework for that. But we just have to build kind of an extra subset of the payment rail. So what we built so far is the 10 HBD payment rail. And then if we build another payment rail to kind of coincide with it, we can do that. So you see, like, the user flow for it would look like this, where you go and there's two buttons, and one says subscribe monthly, one says subscribe yearly. And I think, just off the top of my head, it would be like $100. Oh, it's doing little heart emojis. That's cool. Off the top of my head, it would be like $100 for a year, or $10 a month for premium. So I don't know when we're going to have that. Maybe we'll have it before the end of the year, because then you could, when the year starts fresh, you could just maybe subscribe and have it through all of 2024. But yeah, I generally think it would be a good idea to have it. A big reason being that, especially if we're kind of on the verge of a bull market, and obviously we're not going to be playing the market at all. It's all smart contract based. But if, let's just say that 100 people signing up for a 1-year subscription of premium would bring in 1 year's worth of revenue in a single month, right? So then all that revenue goes to buying Leo at the current price, not at the future price every single month. So and then obviously it stacks it in the liquidity pool, and the longer it sits in that pool, the more fees it earns, and from the fees it earns, it actually deepens itself. So if you know how the liquidity pools work, there's a small swap fee every time someone trades in the pool, and that swap fee is earned by the LPs. So since this is permanent liquidity, that LP earns in like kind. So it's in Beehive-B Leo, and then the pool just keeps getting deeper and deeper. So every month, more of the Leo premium subscribers come in, and that means that more liquidity gets added to the pool. But then every time someone swaps in the pool, more liquidity also gets added to the pool, essentially through those swap fees. So the long-term situation that we're looking for is that, we have a bunch of premium subscribers. My long-term goal is to get, somewhere between 1,000 and 5,000 premium subs sometime next year. In doing that, you see the liquidity pool just deepen every single month. One day we get to millions of dollars in the various liquidity pools for Leo. Having those on-ramp, off-ramps are extremely important. Like we were just talking about, a big subset of creators are just, they're looking to monetize themselves. And a big way to monetize themselves is going to be to come to INLEO and make content and earn Leo and from the Leo rewards pool. And a lot of them are going to sell it, and that's totally fine. That's what the economy is for. Some people are going to sell, some people are going to buy, some people are going to get premium, some people are going to subscribe to only Leo premium subscriptions, and that creates a thriving economy, having all that back and forth activity. So in order to facilitate all that, you need liquidity, and we that's a big focus for us.
And I don't think this has been made clear enough, and I don't think that a lot of people understand what this means for Leo and Hive in general, the tokens. Uniswap got filthy rich by having hundreds of thousands of users swapping every day. The fees do stack, and the fees do make a difference. And right now, if you want to buy Leo with Swap Hive, if you want to buy a big amount, you are going to experience price impact. And you're going to push the price up if you want to buy a Leo. If you want to sell Leo, you are going to experience price down. So if you have, let's say, 100,000 Leo and you want to sell at 4 cents, you're going to push the price down so much that you're going to end up selling the rest at 3 cents or something like that. So the way that this works with the permanent liquidity means that once we have a deep enough pool, people will be able to sell and buy Leo and Swap Hive without experiencing any, well, a smaller price impact. But at the same time, what this means is that the more users swap, the more the pool is going to grow. So, and this has to be very, very clear. Projects go filthy rich with fees, and what Leo is doing instead of taking the fees is deepening the pool. So just like with ad revenue, with only Leos, with subscriptions, with premium, instead of going to the team's pockets, it's going to strengthen the overall ecosystem. So it is incredibly bullish to see a team doing this. And I'm biased because I'm part of the team, but like this has to be clear. This has to be something that you as a user leverage to bring in people to Leo, instead of telling them, hey, come because of the monetization or blah blah blah. Hey, look at what the team is doing. They are putting all of the revenue into strengthening the ecosystem, not to deepen their pockets.
Yeah, absolutely. It's it's all a very circular ecosystem, and that's something I talk about a lot, is kind of building that building in those mechanisms that drive in value and kind of create that momentum that you're looking for. So, monthly active users play a role. The amount of threads created every day plays a role. The views on the website play a role because of all the ads. The number of premium subscribers plays a role. Soon you'll have the subscriptions for different authors, the kind of Substack feature that we're building, where authors will be able to monetize themselves, and then also, at the same time, be able to, drive a small percentage of the fees back to the Leo token as well. So yeah, like Eric said, it doesn't take a lot to build a kind of pinwheel ecosystem where you just get a little bit of momentum and you keep that momentum going, and the small fees really start to add up. And I think that's, you look at Thorchain as well, bringing it back to that full circle. They're generating, I think, like around $4 million a month in terms of swap fees on Thorchain, and they're doing that on $180 million in liquidity. So it's pretty wild. And it's yet another showcase, whether you look at Uniswap or Thorchain or any other platform, the small fees kind of start to add up. And if you're doing the right things with those fees and driving it back to the token, it can create a lot of value. And that brings me to our key word, which is that, I feel like the thesis of this episode has been that we're bullish, whether we're on Thorchain or we're on INLEO and talking about the Leo token. We're feeling bullish about how we're driving real value and real revenue into the platform. So that is your keyword for today, is bullish.
Yes, and for those who speaking about silly, anyone who finishes the rally car section will get some HBD for their efforts. So invite people. They still have around 30 hours to finish all of the tasks. They are very easy. They are all X related. Just bring in people. And for the general campaign, the 5,000 HBD campaign, remember that the top 100 get a little bit of the rewards or from the prize pool. So if you know of anyone who wants to help the Hive ecosystem grow, invite them. They still have time. There's a lot of quests. Actually, the top 100 bar is very low, so it's very easy for them to actually get to the top 100. So don't let your friends sleep on this. It's pretty easy. And in November, we won't have a Zilli campaign for the first 25 days. So you will have time to rest. You will have time to invite more people, but you don't want to miss this small chance, especially if you have friends and your friends have time and your friends want to help the Hive ecosystem grow. This is a no-brainer. Invite them.
And then Eric, are we giving away some premium subs too to some of the Zilli participants?
Yes, I was planning this as a surprise, but yes, we have 10.
My bad.
We have 10
Spoiled it.
10 premium accounts, Leo accounts for a month. We will give them randomly to the top 50, between the top 50. So if you end up in the top 50, you have a 20% chance of getting Leo Premium for 1 month. And as I said, it's not that hard to get to the top 50 right now. So don't sleep on this. The Leo Premium features are pretty good. I don't really do a lot of activity as of late on Leo, but whatever I do gets a ton of eyes. So you really don't want to miss on this free publicity and free visibility courtesy of the Zilly campaign.
You love
And I
to
don't
see
know.
it. You love to see it.
Yeah. And the one that's going to be in December is going to be huge because people are like the year is ending. People are already thinking about January, making their New Year's resolutions. So the whole December campaign is going to revolve around you growing and you building your brand, and at the same time helping Hive become more have a bigger presence on Web2. And it's not only going to be about X, it's also going to be about other Web2 platforms that we want to attack. So yeah, use this time to rest.
Sweet. Yeah. I excited to see the results of this Zealy campaign, and then obviously everyone's got the break until the end of November, and then we'll be heating up for the holiday season. We got some big shoes to fill, big targets to hit in December. So I'm sure we'll talk more about that as the weeks roll on. But yeah, I think that's a good place to close this out, is to grind on the final legs of the Sealy campaign, invite your friends, chase after those rewards, and then take a little break, and obviously keep threading, and then we will see where the end of the year takes us. And then we got the Leo ads contract is going live tomorrow, so I know a lot of you guys are going to be waiting for that. Like I said, you're not going to really see a whole lot right away. Like it takes time. So, give it a little time. The data will start to feed in. And then, like I said, the UI will get the update after we get enough data, just so that it doesn't show any because otherwise it would just be like NaN, it would show nothing. So, we'll wait a few days for some data to roll in. And then you'll kind of see said, when will cat say the keyword? The cat is not here, but I gave you your keyword, and it is the way I feel about Leo and Rune. Obviously, we talk a lot about Rune on this episode, but the keyword is bullish. Eric, you got any closing words for us?
The keyword is bullish. Nah. No, yeah. I mean, I know that you guys are only seeing what is in the front. There are a lot of there are some things that we are still working on, but if you could see what we have in 2024 in store and all the features and all of the marketing initiatives, as of right now, we have spent around 20%, maybe even less, than the marketing budget that we had for these months. So we are stacking. So if you like to speculate, we are stacking for something. So December is going to be amazing, but January and 2024 in general is going to be pretty good. I'm really excited.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, like Eric said, we haven't spent a ton of the DHF funding yet. We've got a very step-by-step plan of how this is all going, and we're kind of in the early stages of building the initial awareness, building the relationships with a few influencers. Obviously, you saw the space we sponsored yesterday, and we're on and plugged INLEO, and we got some signups during that space as well. So kind of in the early stages of getting the ball rolling. And then I think Q1 of next year, we're going to be really hammering hard. and hopefully coinciding with the bull market. So that would be nice as well for monthly active users and for token prices. I think it's all going to be pretty bullish, if you catch my drift. But yeah, that's all I got. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Sorry that the cat had a brief appearance, some technical difficulties. I think Eric and I are going to work with him sometime this week and hopefully try to figure out how we can get him on the spaces more consistently. I know that, you know, Zoom works well for him, but I think it's just spaces that kind of gives him a hard time. So we'll figure it out. But thanks everybody for tuning in. See you guys. I think it'll be November 6th next Tuesday. So thanks Eric for filling in. See you guys later.
See you guys. Thanks, Val.